Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino here, and we have another wonderful guest. We have Enrique from San Antonio. How you doing, Enrique?
I'm blessed. How about yourself, Aaron?
I can't complain. It's been a good day, a little bit chilly, and some snow's on the way, huh?
Yeah, this winter's been a up and down thing, but regardless of what we get here in Texas and specifically in San Antonio, I know you're up in Austin. It doesn't snow that often, so we're still blessed.
That's right. I can't complain at all. But Enrique. So for those of us who aren't familiar with you, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. I've been in the financial services industry since I was 19. I'm 47 now, and I'm looking forward to bringing value and maybe some answers to people who are looking for them and have questions about different things. I don't know everything. That's how come I have my wife. There's a mug that my daughters gave my wife for Christmas, and it says, "Who needs Google when you have mom?" So moms tend to be very insightful, and I've been blessed with a great wife. I'm married to her now for going on 23, 24 years. We have three daughters. Two of them are now adults, and we have one who's in their teenage years. So we're still, going through those challenging times. And there may be families out there that are facing that right now, since we're all doing homeschooling now. But in the financial sector, I've served in different capacities, whether it's in the banking industry, collection industry, counseling industry. I worked there a majority of my time in my career, almost about 16 years in the nonprofit sector as a certified credit counselor, a certified housing counselor, a certified bankruptcy counselor, a certified pre-purchase, post-purchase counselor for housing markets. And then also I was a reverse mortgage counselor dealing with the senior community, was able to help them get educated on a reverse mortgage product that FHA, Federal Housing Administration, guarantees and backs. And I was privileged to educate over 10,000 homeowners nationwide on that type of a loan product and program to see if it was a right fit for them. And ultimately following up with them, just to see where they're at, how they're doing, 1 month after the counseling, 3 months after the counseling, and then at closing of the case, 6 months after the counseling. So I've been in the budgeting sector and counseling sector and the financial sector for quite some time. I did a short stint as a loan officer, and then I decided to move over to helping people in the financial services as a financial professional. So I'm currently a licensed financial professional as a life license agent in the state of Texas and also in the state of California. That's just a brief synopsis.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I'm just curious, Enrique, are you from San Antonio, and how did you get into this industry?
Actually, my family and I were originally from California, and then we decided to make the trek from California to Texas back in 2007. So we've been blessed to be here in Texas since 2007. And that's how come I'm licensed in both states, because the majority of my family, which I've been blessed to help with, our financial services. So that's why I decided to get a license in the state of California. All of my aunts and uncles are out there, and my parents are as well, my sister. So we're the only transplants to San Antonio, Texas. And since I'm in and residing and living in the state of Texas, I got licensed here, and I'm looking forward to bringing value and doing business with people.
Sure, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense, given that there's a lot of people from California that are coming over. Maybe from California to Texas, what were some of maybe the differences that you saw as a transplant when you first got here?
One of the difficulties that we had as Californians, because I think we're really spoiled with the restaurant industry, more so is the service was very fast in California because the pace of life is a lot different than it is here in Texas. Texas is very laid back, I want to say. So when you go to a fast food place and you're waiting for your food, that was a challenge. That was one of the biggest challenges to kind of get used to. But other than that, people are, I want to say, more cordial here in San Antonio. They'll actually have a conversation with you, as opposed to when we were in California, people kind of just kept to themselves. They were just going about their business, and then that was it. But here, when you're waiting in line, you're able to have a conversation with somebody and just, how are you doing? And they don't think it's a weird thing. They, kind of expect it, that you're looking forward to having a conversation. And then the next thing would be the weather. The weather here in Texas, you can have all 4 seasons in one day. So you got to dress in layers in some cases. So that was a big change for us. And then the humidity during the summer months. So, but other than that, we're blessed. We're in a good place. We're in a good position. I want to say for our family, and then also financially, we're doing good.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Enrique. So, just curious, when you were growing up, did you know that you wanted to be in the financial industry, or what kind of spoke to you about this industry?
One of the biggest things that spoke to me about getting into the financial industry is seeing my parents struggle. My grandmother, who has been an entrepreneur most of her adult life, especially when she immigrated from El Salvador, coming here to the United States, she was already a nurse in her country, but had to work her way, in hotels and, making the beds and cleaning after people. Thank God, eventually she was able to buy some property. She bought a 100-unit apartment complex, saved up a lot of money to be able to get the down payment for it. And that's what really, I saw my grandparents, do well in the real estate industry. And then she was able to get a business and then actually gifted that business to my mother. And I was probably about age, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 at that time. And I saw my mother, do quite well in the business as an entrepreneur also. So I think just for my family on my grandmother's side, seeing them, and eventually I saw my parents struggle with the business, just like any entrepreneur. You have ups and downs in life. And then they went through a bankruptcy, unfortunately. They had, difficulties. The business that they were gifted didn't, pan out the way we thought, or in this case, the way my grandmother thought. And then as my sister and I at the time, we went to the attorney's offices, and we remember playing with the coffee machine. And at that time they had coffee cubes. I don't know if they have coffee cubes anymore, with the actual sugar cubes that they would put in the coffee cups. And we would just sit there and play. But when my parents came out of the meeting with the attorney, we could see their faces, and they were just kind of like broken at that point. Emotionally, in their marriage, I want to say as well, they went through this financial, earthquake that shook our family to the core. Thank God they'd never divorced. They did separate for a time, but going through that ordeal at a young age and just having that on my mind, I said, you know what? I never want to go through something like that. I never want my family to go through those struggles or those pains. So I want to say probably at the age of 12, I made a decision that I was going to do everything I can that I could learn as much as possible to, not only help myself, but help others. And all it takes is just the willingness to learn and read and be coachable. So that's one thing that I can remember at that young age. I was either going to go in business somehow, or I was going to help people, not get into a bankruptcy situation. And I spent the latter part of my life doing that, almost, going into 16 years almost, helping people in that area.
Sure. It's interesting how when at that impressionable age, a lot of those things, can kind of, you remember those things later in life and kind of formulate a plan around them.
Yeah, definitely. And after my parents went through the bankruptcy, they struggled, but they regrouped. My father got through a retraining program, became a pharmacist technician, was quite doing really well in that position. He worked the graveyard shift and make more money because of the third shift, working like a vampire, in the evening until the next day. But he did quite well after that, and my mother as well. She actually worked in the banking industry for some time, but then once my father got his pharmacy technician job, she ended up staying home and just becoming a stay-at-home mom. So we recovered from it. But the challenges that we went through during those times, and just like right now, a lot of people are going through the same challenges with this pandemic. People who have lost their jobs, and they did everything right. They saved money, they had money in their 401k. They had their house, they were making their mortgage payments on time, they were having their credit cards and they were making their credit card payments on time. But then this pandemic hit and it just pulled the rug from right underneath everybody. And a lot of people that I'm seeing right now, they need debt management, they need that support. They maybe are in foreclosure, their forbearance is coming due, and they have no idea what they're going to do. So from my background, being certified in the nonprofit sector, it kind of gives me a unique picture when I'm speaking with people, because people do want to rebuild their 401k or maybe roll it over into an account that's not going to lose money in the volatile stock market by using index strategies. So it just really depends on the situation and circumstances that the clients are facing. But regardless of what they're facing, I'm more than willing to help them. And I'm blessed to do it. It would be my honor to help them in whatever circumstance they're facing.
Sure, absolutely. That can definitely be a tough thing to do when you're making your payments on time. You're kind of lining up your ducks in a row, and then everything changes, right? Um,
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? The biggest thing, Aaron, that I have learned over the years is people just need a listening ear. People just want to kind of vent, and if because a lot of people just don't take the time to listen. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned being in this industry. And that's how come on my LinkedIn page, I say, you know what, I'm going to listen to you. And that's when I learn a lot of things, and people are willing to kind of undress themselves in the financial area of their lives. And it's difficult for a lot of people to do that, because they're talking to a complete stranger that they've never met, and they're like, okay, and I'm going to share this with you. And it's tough. And sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 appointments, however many appointments it'll take, to get to kind of the heart of where they're at, but to be able to see the whole picture of what they've gone through and really listen to them, and then make a plan to help them build that financial legacy and rebuild that financial legacy for themselves and also for their family members. That's the biggest thing. People just want someone that's going to listen to them. This is what I've gone through. I don't want to be in the same predicament, and I need help to get out of it, or I need help to get back on the right track.
Sure, absolutely. I'm also curious as well, maybe before, those sometimes inevitable financial issues that people can run into, what are maybe some misconceptions that people have about money?
Well, money, a lot of people say can't make you happier, can't buy happiness. Well, that's true to an extent, because you need it, and we all need it in order to, pay our obligations. So money is definitely something that we all need, but don't fall in love with it is the biggest thing. Use it as a financial tool to help you and your family, make goals with great intent, but also know that there is a higher source, there is a higher power. At least that's what I believe. that will bless you, that will keep you and help you and sustain you to move forward. There's a proverb that I always have on my business cards or on my website, and every day I post a scripture from the Bible, because I'm a faith-based financial professional. On my business card it says BFSP, and BFSP stands for Biblical Financial Stewardship Principles. And so there's a proverb in the Old Testament, and it says, "The blessings of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it." So I believe that God will ultimately bless you if you keep him first, if you seek after him first, and there won't be any sorrow with it. So the decisions that I coach on my clients and kind of guiding them, because everybody needs a coach. Everybody, it doesn't know everything. I don't know everything. And if I don't know it, I'm going to go to someone else that does, that has more experience than I do, so I can be able to coach, my clients better and provide them with that value that they're looking for.
Sure, absolutely. It is interesting how, a lot of scripture can kind of have, descriptions or parallels with finances.
Yeah, the Bible has over 2,400 verses that talk about money. And I think if the Bible has those many verses, it's an important topic that we really need to heed and to take to heart. The focus on some people's lives is just making the money, but they forget when they're in that, the A personality that is going forward and driven and starting a company or something, and they're working, 100 hours a week, but they're not seeing how they're pushing their family aside, and their children are growing and they need dad or they need mom. So money can't buy those years, those young years and the formative years of a child's life. Love is spelled time invested in people, time invested in business relationships, time invested with your clients. And just that's what's really where you're going to find the true happiness in life is, building those relationships, networking with people, listening to them. And then eventually you're going to find, and you're going to be able to connect dots and connect people in their lives and make good business, sound business transactions. And not only that, but sound and wise financial choices as well.
Definitely. It is interesting how there's kind of this relationship between time, between money, between lifestyle and family, and it's all kind of intertwined.
Yeah. And you know what, Aaron, I am recovering from COVID-19. I was in the hospital. I went to the emergency room in mid-January, January 13th to be exact. And from January 13th to January 17th, I was in the emergency, IV, the whole bit. I mean, getting all of the antibiotics pumped into me. My arm was burning as they were putting this stuff into me. And I'm thinking, Lord, what am I doing here? Why am I here? You love me. You said you're going to bless me. You're going to give me good health. But sometimes things happen in life that you're not prepared for. But it helps you reflect on what is truly important in life. And that episode for me, and just 4 days ago, I came home from the hospital with an oxygen machine. Just 4 days ago, I said, you know what, I'm done with this oxygen machine. I'm going to say, Lord, in your name, you're going to help me breathe. You're going to help me get better. You're going to fortify and strengthen my lungs. And I'm going to stop using the oxygen machine. And I did. And with his help, every day I'm getting stronger. But this pandemic has affected all of us, and me personally, it's helped me realign my focus in my life, what is truly important, spending time with your family, loving them, listening to them, listening to what is they're going through, because our children are experiencing anxiety, and just like we are. The news every day is COVID-19 and all these numbers and reports by the governor or the mayor or wherever you're living, you got to tune that out sometime and just, be a family, spend time with family, love them, know that things will get better in time, in due season, and we're all going to come through this together. And we'll be stronger for it. So out of that episode in my life, being in the hospital, I've always wanted to start a company. So after coming out of the hospital, and I said, I'm going to do it. February 1st hit, and I decided to start a new company called Faith Financial Land Move. We're going to look into investing in land acquisition, rural land, small parcels, large parcels, and then we're going to look into flipping the land to be a blessing to people that maybe, they just don't want the land anymore. So that's what we've started. We're already incorporated, and we hit the ground running. So
Hey, that's exciting to hear. I'm just curious, are there any particular parts of San Antonio, or what kind of markets are you mostly looking at?
we're looking at kind of the rural, lower density populated markets, just because those types of markets tend to be more conducive to the land flipping business, as opposed to high, populated markets. Plus the fact that when you go into high populated markets, the value of land increases exponentially, just because of the scarcity. There's already homes built, they've been there for a number of years. And if you go outside, maybe about an hour or so from where the high populated areas are, you're going to find those rural land deals that are really going to make you, benefit for what you're trying to accomplish. And at the same time, you're helping people in their endeavor of getting rid of the land that they don't want anymore. So.
Sure, absolutely. No, it is. I guess there's plenty of opportunities really all over Texas to get land, and people are wanting that land.
Yeah, not just in Texas as well, Aaron. I mean, there's land flippers that have been doing it for years and years, and they started maybe in their home state, but then they migrated to other states, and they're learning that other states have their own laws, their own nuances, and there's niches for it as well. But we're looking as well to invest in other states in the future, but we're going to stay in the Lone Star State, not because we're lonely. It's just because there's a lot of land, there's a lot of opportunity, and that's how come a lot of businesses are moving, from other states to Texas because of the tax breaks. So it's a great time to start a business. It's a great time to be in the real estate industry, the land flipping business, commercial, real estate, whatever you're considering, whatever your heart is leading you to do. Just know this, that there's people in the industry that want you to succeed. There's people that really want to help others and mentor them because they've already made it. They have their millions. And now they've flipped the switch and they're saying, okay, I'm done making all this money. I want to be a mentor to somebody else. I want to help somebody else and be a blessing to them as well.
Sure, absolutely. That can be crucial, finding that, there's good people to be in your corner and to kind of, learn from.
Yeah, just like anything in life, Aaron, there's good people, there's bad people, and you want to stay away from them. You don't want to get burned in the industry, but be good people. Do what's right, honor God, love others, and bless them with your knowledge. And you'll be better for it. You're going to live a richer life because of it. And so if I could do that in the as a financial professional or as a land flipper, land acquisition, then, I'm going to leave a legacy. One day I'm going to leave this earth, but my wife and my children, if I go before them, they're going to remember, hey, my dad did this. My husband did this, and he helped this person, and he was a blessing to this person. So that's what we're looking forward to doing, with this new business that we started, land acquisition.
Yes, that's pretty interesting, Enrique. One thing I'm interested in as well is you were talking about land flipping. What are you selling to an end buyer? Are you selling to a developer, a builder, or who's kind of your customer?
You know what? Aaron, we're just starting in the business. So whatever comes our way and whatever God brings, we'll work with them. You know?
Yeah.
So I can't say that I've done my first deal as of yet because we just started the LLC on February 1st of this year, 2021. I'm still trying to get my website up and running, but once we get that up and running, then we're going to start our campaign for mailing out to the different counties that we've already done some research on. So we're in the infant phase. This is a baby business. There's some people out there that may be listening to podcasts and they're like, how do I do this? And I did that. I did that for about 3 months. I listened to different podcasts. I was encouraged by what I was listening to. And I said, well, let's do it. I prayed about it. I said, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then and we can be blessed by it and bless others, and let's do it. Because Texas, as you well know, Aaron, has over 250 counties. So the pickings are ripe. You don't have to really go to any other state if you don't want to, because there's 250 counties in Texas that you can look and buy rural land, and there's a lot of people that do so. And I'm a follower of a lot of people's blogs and their websites and their land offerings. So once we get our first parcel, I'll let you know who's going to be the end game, if they're going to pick it up or we're going to owner finance it, whatever the case may be.
Sure. Shouldn't that makes a lot of sense. Just kind of, stepping in that correct direction and just going from there.
Yeah. And one of the big things that attracted me to this is the fact that there's no, property that you're having to deal with. Sure, we've all seen the flip it, and fix it and flip it, which is good. And there's people that are really great about doing it, but I just don't have the time. Honestly, I just don't have the time because that takes a whole another, time management skill, and you have to be really, you have to have a really good team that's on that time management skill to really make it work for you. And I realized early on, I don't have the time to do that. I really didn't want to do it. And what really helped me realize that was because we did our own personal remodel of our own home. And my wife, on the 4th of July weekend, 3 years ago, said, let's install some laminate flooring and on the first floor of the house. And I said, sure, I could do that. When I was really young, I worked at one of the home improvement stores, and I actually worked in the floor and tile department. So I would sell to contractors by the pallets, tile and laminate flooring and vinyl flooring and carpet. And I learned how to do all of that at the age of 19. And I said, yeah, not a problem. I got the tools. I got my, my know-how. But the time that it took, it was just massive. Trying to do it after work and working till wee hours of the morning in some cases, just my family and I. Then she said, well, why don't we just do the whole house? And I'm like, you really want to go through this and do the whole house? She's like, yeah, we've already halfway done. And I said, okay. So it took us quite a bit of time to finish the inside of the house with the laminate flooring in all the rooms. It's a small home. It's only 2,400, 94 square feet. But then she said, how about we remodel the kitchen? So we got into the remodel of the kitchen. And after going through that, I said, we all need to get t-shirts. I survived the Juarez remodeling, in this year. So after doing that, I learned that no, I'm not a fix it and flipper type of guy. Even though I could do it, and I know how to do stuff, but I just don't have the patience, I guess you say, for it. So land is a commodity. It's dirt and grass and trees and whatever else that may come and surprises with it, but I don't have to fix anything. The most I have to fix is maybe a chain of title or something, or a survey or whatever, or whoever comes out of the woodworks. But I could deal with that because that's just phone calls and, you know, dealing with title people and all that. But having an asset like a house, and then you have to go through inspections and all kinds of things, I just said, no, that's not for me. So you gotta kind of know yourself before you get into a market, you know, and that's what podcasts really helped me hone in and focus on. You know, land flipping, yes, you can make great money, but it's not for everybody. You
Yeah.
know, so you gotta take a look at yourself in the mirror, the man in the mirror, and say, can I really do this, and do I really want to do this? And after I did that, I said, no, I don't want to do fix it and flip it, because we went to our home remodel, and I said, that's just not for me.
No, it's great because we all kind of have experiences like that, and it's good that, you know, you have the self-awareness to know that, hey, you know, land is probably something better that suits you, right?
Yeah, and it's a higher ROI, you know, and that's what we're looking for. You know, I'm 47 now. I got probably, you know, 18, maybe 20 years of work left in me if my health holds up. And from now in 20 years, if the Lord tarries, then I'm hoping to build up a nice nest egg, and maybe buy one parcel in every county in Texas and just leave that as a legacy to my children and their children's children, if they want to, you know, in the future move somewhere else in Texas and have just kind of recreational land and go hunting or fishing or whatever the case may be. Then that we'd be blessed to do it, you know, and have the parcel like that and just hold it maybe, and just have it in our business, you know. So
I like that. That's a very noble goal to have.
yeah, you know, because I'm not getting any younger, Aaron, you know. My grades are getting grayer, and I'm getting slower. So I wake up in the morning and I feel a new ache somewhere. And you might be out there, you know, listening to this saying the same thing. And well, you got to get in the game. If you still have breath in your lungs and, you know, a notion to do something, just don't be a sideliner, you know, live life to the fullest. And even if you fail, get back up.
Yeah.
Get back in the game. You know, when there's a will, there's a way, and you'll find a way, and God will make a way for you, and He'll help you, and you'll be blessed for it. And if you don't try, you're just gonna beat yourself up. Why didn't I do that sooner? You know, so you try, get in there, see what happens, and then you know, maybe we'll have another podcast in the future, like a year from now. Hey, Enrique, how you doing with that land flipping business? And I'm gonna say it was a flop, you know, whatever. But, or maybe it won't be, you know, maybe I've bought 10, 12, 20 parcels and I flipped them and made 100,000, you know, whatever the case may be. Just like that proverb I said earlier, I'm looking forward to the Lord blessing it. And there's another verse that we're trusting and looking, and we put on our website already, is that the land is of the Lord. You know, the fullness of this land is His. He is the giver of life. He is the owner of everything. We're just stewards. You know, we're just here managing it. Whether you're in government, whether you're in the commercial industry, whether you're in the local, you know, municipalities, whatever the case may be, we're just here managing it as stewards. We don't own it. He created it, so He owns it all anyways. All we're doing is having our names on one, you know, piece of paper to another, but ultimately He's the owner of it all. So
Absolutely. No, that's you know, very well said to kind of incorporate those principles and, you know, the way that you go about your business.
yeah, one of the big things that helped me, Aaron, was reading a book by the founder of Hobby Lobby. When I was in my recovering phase, I got bored watching TV, so I got a good book, you know, and just started reading it. And that's what I did. I read that book from the owner of Hobby Lobby, a very short book, but a profound impact on what truly matters. And so after reading that book, you know, he said, just figure out who you are first, figure out what you want for your family, you know, because he, in his book, he said, I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that a company that I started in my garage would turn into this multi-billion-dollar company and employ so many people, and God blessed it. And, they've been able to do a museum in Washington, D.C., and all kinds of different, things that they've been able to bless people 1,000 times over. People talk about, let's take it 3x and 7x and 100x. Well, God has taken that business, 1,000x, I think. And he just is all glory to God. And that's the kind of the outlook I'm having is starting this land acquisition business is I want to give glory to him and everything that we do. We want to be wise stewards, but we also want to make a profit at the same time, just like everybody in business, especially now, with this pandemic. People are hurting. People may be out there and they have a parcel of land and they say, hey, I want to sell it and I need to sell it. Give us a call. We'll be more than willing to help you out with that transaction.
Sure, absolutely, Enrique. Very, very well said. Is there anything you haven't said thus far that you'd really just like to hit home?
Well, I want to just state, Aaron, I want to thank you, first of all, for inviting me to be part of this. And it's just a blessing to be part of it. I told my wife, hey, I'm going to be on this podcast type thing, interview with a gentleman who works in the industry for real estate investing, and he knows a lot of people. And I don't know that many people, only like 2 or 3 people away from 5,000 on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had to delete somebody that I didn't even know who they were. I said, well, and I wanted to friend somebody. So I said, I'm going to delete this person so
Sure.
I could friend someone else because I don't even know who they are. But you know what? Just be friends with people. Listen to them. And if you could be a blessing to them and what they're trying to do or accomplish, and as a financial professional and as a newly now entrepreneur, land flipping investor, we have an array of different services that we can provide to people in the industry, whether it's, auto insurance. We have providers that we can, refer out to and help them, whether it's boat insurance, renter's insurance if you're not in the land or real estate yet, homeowners insurance, whatever the case may be, flood insurance. We're able to provide those types of policies for people through our providers. Or if you're looking on a personal note, if you're wanting to get, estate planning services. Matter of fact, I just updated my will today, and next week I'm going to get it notarized. Not only my will, but also my financial power of attorney together with my medical directive, because I think the last time I did it was when we first moved here from California to Texas, and that was in 2007. So we're in 2021. People are saying you should look at it every year, and I said, yeah, well, we get procrastination sets in.
Yeah.
Now is the time to take a look at these things. So if you don't have a will, the statistics say that 70% of families with children don't have a will, and that's difficult for me to know, because it only takes maybe 30 to 40 minutes to sit down and with a financial professional and plan it out. And then we have in-house notaries that we can have them notarize the documents right there. So you don't have to, travel somewhere else, and we'll have the witnesses witness the documents for you. We're not attorneys, but we have the providers that we can leverage. If you need to speak with an attorney, if you have a complicated estate, you need to have a one-on-one with an attorney, we can set that up as well too. So if you're in retirement years, you're a baby boomer, and you're like, what am I going to do with my money? Yeah, the stock market's coming back, but it's volatile. We're getting ready to go into $1.9 trillion according to the new administration. What's that going to do in the future? Well, it's going to cause inflation, and cost of living is going to go up, and interest rates are going to probably go up again. So if you have money in the volatility market, get ready. Don't have it in a volatile market. We could talk about index strategies where you're going to index it, maybe in a fixed index annuity. And we have providers that'll look into giving you 5, 10, 20% bonus. If you have $100,000 and you get a 20% bonus, because you qualify for it, you're looking at $120,000 from the starting gate. And that can help you make up the loss maybe that you've experienced in your 401k. So consider that, those are services that we can leverage and provide for our client base as well.
Sure thing, Enrique. That's very well said. It maybe someone's listening, someone's watching, and they really enjoyed what you had to say. Maybe the way you go about your business, your principles. They're in San Antonio, and they want to speak to a financial professional. Where can we find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. And like I said, I post daily a Bible verse because outside of being a financial professional and outside of being a new land investor, business owner, I'm also an ordained minister. And I have been in the ministry since the age of 19. So if I can be a blessing to you and your family, give me a call or link up with me in LinkedIn or reach out to me on Facebook. So either one of those platforms will do. I didn't want to do too many because there's so much out there.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. You can get in contact with me, or you can call me direct as well if you want. If you want my phone number, I can give it out there as well, Aaron, and they can call me direct. I'm more than happy to speak with you.
Sure thing. Yeah, I'd be happy to put that number in the link to the video. But thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure having you. I learned a bit about you. You working in the industry, kind of your path into the industry, and then your new endeavor with your land business. So thank you so much, and best of luck to you.
All right. Well, I appreciate the invite and appreciate being on this show, on this episode, and I hope I touched a nerve with somebody and they'll make a decision to do something in their life for the betterment of their family and build a financial legacy, not only for themselves, but also for their children and their children's children, because a good man leaves an inheritance to his children and his children's children. So be that good man or that good woman, whatever your case may be.
That's right, Enrique. Well said. Thank you so much.
All right. We have a great day, Aaron, and thank you once again for the invite. Be blessed.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.